Good morning. Welcome to IBS Hyderabad faculty series. In this 4-part brief, I and my colleagues will be covering the evolution of social networking, the prevalent business models, the scale and scope and the initiatives taken by companies, the Indianness of it, how social networking has been prevalent in India, and finally we'll be talking about the privacy issues that concerns us. Man innately is faced with the urge to be social. Genesis can be traced to bringing people together to form some kind of social relationship. Traditionally, social networking was limited to the festivals and events, the rituals and norms that goes with it, and eventually the religion and culture played its part. Later on, radio, TV, and movies, they played a very important role, but somewhat limited role in bringing people together. However, internet expanded the scope of social networking, and if I can quote Sir Tim Berners-Lee, internet was primarily built to network people together, to network users, computers together, and build an online community. If we look at the genesis of internet, we will see emails where we were conversing with each other on a one-to-one basis. Slowly websites came into being, which was passive. Later on, we saw portals came into being. Then we saw search engines, online advertising, internet messaging, internet phones, and later on weblogs, popularly known as blogs, which was the precursor to social networking. Well, if you see this, there are two things that we can point a finger at when the internet as a medium evolved for social networking. We can see that social networking over internet slowly became dynamic and real-time. This dynamic and real-timeness of internet created social networking what we see today. Some of the initial efforts by some companies online to build social networking communities was by the Globe.com and GeoCities in 1994, the Tripod.com and Classmates.com in 1995, and 6degrees.com in 1997. By the turn of the century, these old social networking sites later on gave way to the new ones when we saw Friendster coming somewhere in 2002, MySpace and LinkedIn in 2003, Facebook came into being in 2004, Bebo, Yahoo 360 in 2005, and Twitter in 2006. This is to name a few from more than 200 active sites that we have today. Well, big companies have been using social networking sites to build a kind of a reputation that they always strive for. Small businesses, they could focus on a big, large market for their offering. Entrepreneurial ventures, they could have a global reach at the least possible cost. Government agencies, they sought public opinion and they wanted to tell public what or given updates on projects, the initiatives that they have been covering in through social networking sites. Well, institutions, be it reporting epidemics, be it reporting a cure for a particular disease, weather warnings, economy updates, all were created into social networking, into the fabric of social networking. Scientific community, especially biotech and pharma industry, pharma companies, primarily took social networking perhaps as a quest to test their APIs or get the feedback from the market for the trial runs. Academic community for education and research, libraries to share the repositories of knowledge. The community at large sought social networking services ranging from dating to marriage to old age home and so on. Society was created, a community was created online where the users were primarily equal, possibly anonymous, yet they were friendly and interesting. Social networking was found to be ubiquitous and definitely contagious. It's addictive. If we look at the growth of social networking sites, today Facebook is by far the largest with about 413 million users, surpassing Google's users, followed by many, and MySpace.com, which was earlier the leader, is now a distant follower to Facebook. Yahoo 360 is closed now. It couldn't muster users. Weibo in 2005, it was founded in 2005, is now acquired by AOL in 2008. Twitter has been doing reasonably well. FriendFeed was acquired by Facebook primarily to aggregate the user data, to aggregate the user profiles, the social networking themes that were coming onto social networking sites. This shows a few things. One, there has been a strong consolidation in social networking companies or the industry. Second, it also shows that because there are more than 200, 300 companies now, we require companies like FriendFeed who could aggregate the user data, the user requirements. Facebook and MySpace were primarily seen as generic multipurpose sites that leverage on scale economies. On the other side of the spectrum, on the other edge of the spectrum, we have LinkedIn and we have Twitter, which are primarily targeting the niche market. LinkedIn primarily for professionals, Twitter for very short messages of 140 characters, and some other networking sites, social networking sites in between, such as Ning, High5, and Bebo, somewhere in between. We also have some regional sites which are popular, such as QQ in China, Skyrock in France, VKontakte in Russia, Cyworld in South Korea, and we also have some specific interest or religion-based social networking sites such as ResearchGate, primarily for researchers, and Muslim for the Islamic community, to name a few.